Namo Buddhaya. Welcome back to Monks in the Morning from Colombo Dhamma Friends of Mahameonawa. The monks here are so happy to get to spend time with you now. It's really hard to find people in the world who are interested in learning and practicing the Dhamma. We love that you care enough about your future that you would spend time listening to these Dhamma teachings. When we're with each other, we get to learn all sorts of things that help us to be better people. The more we learn from our good Dhamma friends, the easier it is to remember to do the right things, even when it's difficult. This is important to remember when we do bad things. No matter what, the Buddha reminds us that we can give up doing bad things by following his teachings. And when we spend time with good people like this, we naturally start to give up these bad actions. Today, we're going to think about how powerful our minds are. Just by thinking, we can collect good or bad karma. Today, the Bhante is going to give us some tips for training our minds. He'll also tell us a little bit about the great Arahant monk Upali. He was the monk who was the top expert in the Vinaya, the rules that monks and nuns follow. We'll find out how, because of his mind in a previous life, he was born as a low-caste barber in his last life. We'll also chant the Chandaparita, so get your chanting book ready or click on the show notes link to download a PDF or follow online. Before we take the 5 precepts, we should think back about any precepts we may have broken since the last time we took them. It's good if we can tell our parents if we have, but even if we feel too shy to do that, we can still make the decision right now not to break those precepts again. So think for a moment if you've broken any of the precepts, and then we'll take them again together.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. Dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. Saṅghaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. Dutiyampi buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. Dutiyampi dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. Dutiyampi saṅghaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. Tatiyampi buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. Tatiyampi dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. Tatiyampi saṅghaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Say after me. I observe the precept of abstaining from killing beings. I observe the precept of abstaining from stealing. I observe the precept of abstaining from sexual misconduct. I observe the precept of abstaining from telling lies. I observe the precept of abstaining from taking intoxicating drinks and drugs with the refuge of the Noble Triple Gem. I observe these precepts for happiness in this life, for rebirth in heaven, to escape from the sufferings of samsara. May it help me. May it be a blessing. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Namo Buddhaya. Today, for our Dhamma learning, we are going to talk about the mind. We know that the trained mind and untrained mind. So trained mind always beneficial and untrained mind is always harmful. If you think about Buddhas, Buddha became after training their mind, and also Pacceka Buddhas who understood Dhamma without any teacher, and also enlightened monks. They train their mind, they develop their mind. So sometimes we feel sorrow and sometimes we feel happy. The one thing we can develop here, we can learn here to develop our mind. When you feel sorrow, for example, these days, you are stuck in homes. We always sorrow because we cannot move freely. So this point that you can always think about that the people, those who live more sorrow than us. Now think about that if you are stuck few days in our homes. Think about that some prisoners, their lifetime in the prison. When you think that people, those who are suffering more than us, your sorrow will reduce slowly. And also when you are happy, sometimes we feel that we let down the people, those who are not happy, or people, some monks or some people, they are not following Dhamma path, or they are not practicing meditation really well. If we are following that Dhamma path, we put them down. But always when you are happy, you will always think that our happiness compared to enlightened monks, they are the most happiest people in this world. And in this way, we can reduce our conceit. So now, the trained mind, I'm going to give you some example about that one of the monks. So his kuti, his room, had a really bad sunlight. He couldn't stay. He couldn't do meditation. Then after some time, another monk saw him. He is walking freely outside without any trouble. And he came and asked, how you meditate, how do you practice walking meditation outside without any trouble? Then he told the other monk, so by comparing that heat in the hell, so we know that in hell, for 1,000 kilometers away, when we see the fire in the hell, it is said that our eyes will blast. So some beings are living there. They are suffering all the time. They die and they will be born in the same place. By thinking that way, some beings are suffering, then that he felt that sunlight is like it is not trouble for him. In this way, he trained his mind and he practiced his meditation. And this way, when we think, when we are happy, we can think that, okay, there are so many people happier than us. Our happiness is not much. In that way, we are not going to let down the people are not happy like us. So, and in this way, when we train our mind, we can be happy all the time. We don't develop our conceit. Now, we know that Upali Bhante, he was foremost from code of conduct. So, but he got the definite word of assurance 100,000 eons ago from Padumutra Buddha to be the monk from foremost from code of conduct. However, on the long journey of samsara, one time he was born as a prince of a king. One day when he was traveling on an elephant to see the street, all the people went aside and was looking at him. Then he saw that one of the Pacceka Buddha was coming towards him, and he did not go aside. He got angry because of his conceit. He rode his elephant towards Pacceka Buddha. Pacceka Buddha went away. Because of his conceit, he was born after that every lives in low caste. So even that last life, he was born as a barber. He had to work as a barber in royal palace. So after he enlightened, he saw his past life. That's the way that he developed conceit. As a result of that, he had to face the consequence of that. Now, by developing this mind, you can develop our meditation, and we can develop our wholesome life. And using the mind, people break the precepts. They do bad things, and which is harmful. And one time, we know that the power of the mind. Devadatta, as soon as he thought to divide a community of monks, and he lost all his psychic power. So he developed his mind in the wrong way. This is very important. So according to Buddha's teaching, we know in Dhammapada, Buddha taught us all actions in this life are preceded by mind. Mind is their chief. They are made by mind. If one speaks or acts with an impure mind, suffering follows one like the wagon wheel that follows the foot of an ox. And all actions in this life are preceded by mind. Mind is their chief. They are made by mind. If one speaks or acts with a pure mind, happiness follows one like one's never departing shadow. Namo Buddhaya.
Chandaparita, discourse given to the moon deity. Turn to page 34 in your chanting book. If you've been to all-night Paritta chantings before, you've probably heard this sutta. We can find it in the Samyutta Nikaya in the chapter on young gods. Now let's chant together.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa evaṃ me sutaṃ ekaṃ samayaṃ bhagavā sāvatthiyaṃ viharati jetavane anātha pindikassa ārāme tena khopana samayena chandimā deva punto rahuna asurindena gahito hoti atakho chandimā deva punto bhagavantaṃ anussaramāno tāyaṃ vēlāyaṃ imaṃ gātaṃ abhāse.
Thus have I heard on one occasion the Blessed One was living in Savatthi at Jetavana at Anathapindika's monastery. At that time Chandima, the moon deity, was captured by Rahu, one of the kings of the Asuras. Thereupon, calling to mind the Blessed One, Chandima, the moon deity, recited this stanza.
Namo te buddha virantu vipamutto si sambadhi sambadha patipannosmi tassa me saranang bhavate.
O Buddha, the hero, I pay homage to you. You are completely free from all suffering. I have fallen into trouble. Please be my refuge and help me.
Athakho bhagava chandimang deva puntang arambha Rahung asurendang gathaya ajjhabhase.
Then the Blessed One addressed Rahu Asura in verse on behalf of Chandima, the moon deity, thus.
Tathagatang arahantang Chandima saranang gato Rahu chandang pamuccassu Buddha lokanukampakate.
O Rahu, Chandima has gone for refuge to the Tathagata, the Arahant. O Rahu, release Chandima, the Buddha's radiate compassion on the beings of the world.
Athakho Rahu asurindo Chandimang deva puntang munchitva Taramana rupo yena vepachitte asurindo ten upasankami Upasankamitva sangvingo lomahattha jato Ekamantang atthase Ekamantang titang korahung asurindang Vepachitte asurindo gathaya ajjhabhase.
Thereupon Rahu, the Asura, released Chandima, the moon deity, and immediately went to the presence of Vepachitti, the leader of Asuras, and stood beside him trembling with fear, with hair standing on end. Then Vepachitti the Asura addressed Rahu the Asura with this stanza.
Kinnu santara manova Rahu chandang pamunchase Sangvikarupo agamma Kinnu bhetova tithasete.
Rahu, Why did you suddenly release Chandima? Why have you come here trembling? And why are you standing here terrified?
සත්ථධාමේ ඵලේ මුද්ධා ජීවන්තෝන සුඛං ලභේ බුද්ධගාථාභිගීතෝම්හි නොචේ මුංචේය චන්දෙමන්තේ.
I have been spoken to by the Buddha in a stanza, requesting me to release Chandima. If I had not released Chandima, my head would have split into 7 pieces. If I lived, I would not have had any happiness.
ඒතේන සච්චේන සුවත්ති හෝතු.
By this truth, may there be well-being.
Theragatha. Verses of Arahant monks.
Dear monk, what are you looking for, staying in this thick forest in the mountain Ujjuhana in this rainy season? Do you really like this chilly wind? Meditators like to live alone. In the rainy season, strong winds carry clouds through the sky. In the same way, thoughts connected to seclusion overwhelm my mind. All the time there are crows covering the cemetery. When I see those birds, mindfulness connected to thoughts of dispassion about this body arises in me. If others do not protect him, and if he does not protect others, that kind of a monk sleeps happily, having no hopes for sensual pleasures. The stream with clear water and a rocky slope is very beautiful. Monkeys and other animals have lots of fun there. Those mountains covered with moss delight my heart. I have lived in forests, near waterfalls, in caves and in faraway monasteries inhabited by wild beasts. I haven't had any evil and angry thoughts such as, may these beings be killed, may they be slaughtered, and may they come to harm. The great teacher's instruction has been respectfully followed by me. The Buddha's path has been fully followed by me. I put down the heavy load of defilements. I rooted out the fetters of existence. I became a monk with the wish to achieve one goal, the destruction of all fetters. That I have achieved. I don't desire to die, nor do I desire to live. Like a person who is awaiting his monthly salary, I am awaiting my time to attain final extinguishing at passing away. I don't long for death. I don't long for life. With clear mindfulness and awareness, I am awaiting the day to attain final extinguishing at passing away. These verses were said by Arahant Sankicca.
Sadhu, sadhu, I worship the Supreme Buddha. Sadhu, sadhu, I worship the Supreme Dhamma. Sadhu, sadhu, I worship the Supreme Sangha. Sadhu, sadhu, I worship the Supreme Sangha. Sadhu, sadhu, I worship the Supreme Triple Gem. May I have refuge from the Supreme Buddha. Being able to recall the Supreme Dhamma, thinking of the Mahasangha's virtue, who followed the path to find out the Four Noble Truths. I show respect to the Supreme Triple Gem. May I be blessed in this Gautama dispensation. I worship the Supreme Buddha. I worship the Supreme Dhamma. I worship the Supreme Sangha. I worship the Supreme Triple Gem.
It was great to spend time with you today. We hope that you learned something new, and we really hope that you can use what you learned as you go about the rest of your day. Wasn't that interesting, what we learned, the story about the monk who had a hard time living in his kuti, in his little cabin, because it was so hot, because the sunlight was so hot. But then later on, he figured out a way to live there peacefully. Do you remember what that was? He thought, okay, this may be hot, but even hotter is being reborn in the hell realms. There, the heat is very, very bad. So when I compare what I'm experiencing with that kind of suffering, this suffering is very small. And practicing walking meditation is a way to avoid that other kind of suffering. So this is something that we can do with our mind when we're in a difficult situation. If we're not able to change that situation, we can think, well, there are other people who are in situations that are much, much worse than I am. So in this way, the situation that we're in doesn't seem so bad, and we can bear it up. Because that's what we have to do sometimes. If the situation can't be changed, we just have to be patient with it. And this is a power of our mind. Something very important to develop, this patience. When we do, then we can be happy all the time. Now let's share merits. Even in this short time, we've done many wholesome actions. So may our parents, our teachers, our relatives, our friends, all heavenly beings rejoice in the actions that we've done here today. May they have a happy mind thinking about these actions, and may they soon experience the supreme bliss of Nibbana in this Gautama Buddha's dispensation. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo Buddhaya.